Thank you for joining us. I'm Brad Clonch.
And I'm Quinn Tran. Prepare to celebrate. The Chickasaw Nation's annual meeting and festival is just a few days away.
Preparations have been underway for the 51st annual meeting. Chickasaw citizens here at home and from across the country will gather for the event and festival. There are several activities and special occasions leading up to the annual meeting on October 1st. Mark your calendars. The festivities start September 24th. At the Capitol Grounds in Tishomingo, you'll find the Southeastern Art Show and Market. Artists will be on hand to display their wonderful work.
Families will also enjoy the dance troupe and see cultural demonstrations. These Chickasaws will perform during the week in Tishomingo near the old Capitol building and in Sulphur at the Chickasaw Cultural Center. People will also get to tour various Chickasaw landmarks, including the Cultural Center, the Chickasaw White House, and the Capitol in Tishomingo that now serves as a museum. Chickasaws say the week-long gathering is like a homecoming, a time for them to return to their roots.
Governor Bill Anatubby will welcome Chickasaws to the 51st annual meeting on October 1st.
Governor Anatubby will deliver the State of the Nation address at Fletcher Auditorium on the campus of Murray State College.
Expect the auditorium to be packed. An overflow venue is planned, allowing more people to see and hear the governor's address.
The theme of this year's annual meeting is Celebrate. There is much for Chickasaws to celebrate, and they'll be doing so with their families. After the governor's State of the Nation address, Chickasaw citizens, along with the town of Tishomingo and nearby communities, will enjoy the parade, the food, the fun, and fanfare.
Here's a special event held every year during annual meeting festivities. It's the Chickasaw Princess Pageant. The young ladies vie for Miss Chickasaw, Junior Miss Chickasaw, and Little Miss Chickasaw. The contestants are judged on their poise, presence, and dress. They get to perform a talent and take part in a one-on-one interview with the judges and be asked a question live on stage. The reigning Little Miss Chickasaw, Megan Carney, Junior Miss Chickasaw, Taloa Underwood, and Miss Chickasaw, Cecily Robertson, will be part of the pageant. They will reflect on their year as serving as ambassadors of the Chickasaw Nation. The Chickasaw Princess Pageant is set for the evening of September 26th.
The annual meeting and festival is a week-long celebration, a celebration of the tribe and its people. The Chickasaw Cultural Evening is scheduled for Tuesday, September 27th. It will be held at the Cultural Center in Sulphur. On Thursday, September 29th, the Arts and Culture Awards will be held at Murray State College's ballroom. This event recognizes outstanding Chickasaws. Recognition is given to Chickasaws for Dynamic Woman of the Year, the Silver Feather Award, and the Best Unpublished Article. In terms of published work, the Chickasaw Press is releasing 3 new books this fall.
They're books that provide insight on Chickasaw people, culture, and traditions.
We're featuring each of the books, the authors, and the artists. Here's the first preview, a children's book.
This is the beginning. Okay.
For Glenda Galvin,
this represents just 2 of the stories.
this is her first look at the pages of a special Chickasaw book.
The book title is Chickasaw Stories, Shared Spirits, Volume 1.
Glenda, a Chickasaw storyteller, shares traditional stories in the book. Jeannie Barber illustrated the characters, animals teaching life lessons.
In fact, all the stories in this first book are animals talking to one another and animals interacting with one another. It was back during a time when animals could talk to one another, so ancient times. When I illustrated the book, I tried to think in those terms, that this was early times, this was ancient times, everything was new in the world. And so the animals are illustrated in such a way that they're whimsical, they're kind of confused, they're learning about the world, just as the children, you know, that you're telling these stories to are learning about the world. The illustration that I like the most in the book, I think, is when all the animals are on the raft. And they're just piled on top of each other.
The book is a compilation of Chickasaw stories passed down over generations. Glenda and Jeannie spent years gathering the stories, some from their own families.
Some of them are clan stories, which belong specifically to my family. And then some I've gleaned from other elders, tribal elders.
But this is what it's going to look like in the book. It's just very exciting and wonderful to know that my ancestors knew about these stories, that they've been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and I've taken a part in this process of maybe passing it on in a new type of medium to another generation. These are our ancestors' words, speaking to us down through the centuries, speaking to us. What their thoughts were, what they thought was important, during their time period for their children to know. The same things are important today as, say, 500 years ago.
Through words and illustrations, these two Chickasaw women bring to life these tribal stories. The book is also a tribute to Chickasaw elders who kept the stories alive.
It had to have been important. It had to have been important to them to carry these stories generation after generation. And I just have felt called, Jeannie can tell you, I have felt called to do this. Not necessarily a book, but to do the storytelling, to reach as many people as I could with these stories so that they wouldn't die. Because they're too valuable, they're too important.
It's very important culturally, not only preserve it, but use it. Use it as part of who you are, as part of what your identity is. And these stories do that for us.
The Chickasaw Press will have a book signing on the Capitol grounds in Tishomingo. Look for that during the annual meeting and festival.
We'll continue our series on Chickasaw Press publications. Look for features on newly released books and upcoming episodes of CNTV.
Look for that in live streaming of Governor Anatubby's State of the Nation address on Chickasaw.net. We'll have complete coverage in October here on CNTV.
See you again soon.